Hello, today let's talk about how to use and, of course, how to set up a grease gun. A grease gun itself is a common workshop and garage tool used for lubrication. The purpose of the grease gun is to apply lubricant through an aperture to a specific point, usually from a grease cartridge to a grease fitter or a nipple. The channel behind the grease nipple leads to where the lubrication is needed. The aperture may be of a type that fits closely with the received aperture on any number of mechanical devices. The close fitting of the aperture ensures that lubricant is applied only where needed. There are four types of grease gun on the market. The good old hand-powered one, where the grease is forced from the aperture by back pressures built up by hand cranking the trigger mechanism of the gun, which applies pressure to a spring mechanism behind the lubricant, thus forcing grease throughout the aperture. Then we have a second hand-powered device where there is no trigger mechanism and the grease is forced through the aperture by the back pressure built by the pushing on the butt of the grease gun, which slides a piston through the body of the tool, pumping the grease out of the aperture. And air-powered. These are pneumatic, where the compressed air is directed to the gun by hoses. The air pressure serves for the force that the grease through the aperture. Russell Gray, inventor of the air-powered grease gun, founded Graco based on this invention. And as shown in here, that video, this is an electric, where an electric motor drives a high-pressure grease pump. They are often battery-powered for portability. The grease gun is charged or loaded with any of the various types of lubricants. But usually a thicker, heavier type of grease is used for that. It was a close reassembled to contemporary hand-powered grease guns that gave the nickname to the World War II era M3 submachine gun, for example. And of course, on the other side, you will need a nipple for that. So take care and have a look where the nipples are, which you can then, of course, use. Nipples are on a lot of mechanical devices, of course. And this is a grease fitting, a grease nipple, a thurk fitting, a grease thurk, an alamite fitting, or a divide. This is a metal fitting used in the mechanism system to feed lubricants, usually lubrication grease, into a bearing under the motor at high pressure using a grease gun, like we showed that here. To, of course, get the grease into it, we have to make a little bit of pre-working stuff. That means we have to enter the grease into the machine. And of course, we have to apply all the right fittings for connecting to the grease nipple. Grease fittings are permanently installed by either a taper, a thread, or a thread push-it, a hammer-in arrangement, leaving a nipple connection that the grease gun attached to. The pressure supplied by the grease gun forces a small captive bearing ball in the fitting to move the bag against the force of its retaining spring. The arrangement is used essentially by a valve that opens under pressure to allow lubricant to pass through a channel and be forced into the void of the bearing. When the pressure ceases, the ball returns to its closed position. The ball excludes the dirt and functions as a check valve to prevent grease escaping back out of the fitting. The ball is almost flush with the surface of the fitting, though that it can be wiped clean to reduce the amount of debris carried with the grease into the bearing. And the common convex shape of the fittings allows the simple convex top of the grease gun to seal against the fitting easily from many angles. yet with a sufficiently light seal to force the pressured grease to move the ball and under the fittings rather than the simple oozing past the temporary annually. This is a ring-shaped seal for a higher pressure greasing. The grease gun and the latches onto the nipple and sealing is effective as a butt joint. If this type of gun and it's not perfectly aligned with the nipple, they leak. Once greasing is completed, the latchet on the nozzle can be released by angling the nozzle over the break the seal with the nipple. Once the seal is broken, the pressure in the nozzle is released, thus releasing the latching fingers. And the last common design has a few names including the button hat, the three-penny bit, and the flat and the tat hat. This is a large nipple hat with a flat sealing surface, which overhangs the body of the nipple, allowing the grease gun end to be hooked onto the nipple with a sliding action which wipes the nipple surface as it's attached. The grease gun hose is usually a sharp angle, for example 70 up to 90 degrees, to the axis of the nipple, but it can be approached from any azimuthal angle. It is not possible to grease the pressure for the force with the type of connector away from the nipple. The grease fittings are commonly made from thin plated steel, stainless steel, or brass. So easy it is. Get your grease fittings clean every day and make good lubrication. Use a nice and good grease gun for that. Easy peasy, baby. The good old, nice and easy users grease gun are your friend if you are working in industrial, on workshops, or in the garage. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe me and give me a positive feedback, and I hope to see you again on my channel. Dun dun!